All right, I want to talk to you today about why former inmates, convicts, could actually make great fathers. Think about it. I know that sounds a little off, but people who have been in prison, they recognize all kinds of shady, all kinds of sketchy. They can pick that up. They have a radar for this stuff. So, as far as keeping your children safe, you can see suspect chomos and freaks and stuff from a distance that most people's not picking up on. And you know what kind of sickness is in this world because you've been locked up with it. You see the sickos and the weirdos and the freaks, all the rapists and child molesters and all these idiots. So you can kind of get a vibe from them after a while. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, my brothers of incarceration, I'm asking you to step up and break the cycle that's going to keep your child from going to prison. And then you are the only one who can probably do that. And that is raising them with a relationship with Jesus, primary. But you have to be there. If your father wasn't there for you, you know how bad that hurts. Every man that I met in prison, at least 98% of them, were a giant man child that didn't have something growing up, or he had some kind of trauma, whether he was beaten, whether his parents were addicts or abusers, or whatever the case was. Maybe it was sexual abuse, physical abuse. Most of the time, it was broken children that were playing out stupid stuff when they should have been dependent on Jesus, but they may have never had that seed implanted in them. And sometimes, such as myself, I just leaned toward bad stuff. I had great parents. They were not addicted. They did not abuse me. They did the best they could for me. They were awesome. Some of us are just attracted to bad things. Always pulled for the villains. Always felt more like a villain. Not good. Definitely not normal. The point being, you got to break that cycle. Your children need you more in this world than ever. So don't be the guy that repeats and keeps going back. You got to cut something loose, cut it loose. Your children need you more than anything. Get a relationship with Jesus. Share that relationship with them. Go out and do stuff. Everything doesn't have to cost money. I understand, especially if you just got out of prison. You're broke as a joke. I get it. But parks are always open, nature trails, take them fishing, all kinds of stuff you can do. Just get them away from the BS, get them away from the rat race, and spend a little bit of quality time with them and tell them everything they need to hear to not follow down the same exact path you did. You know, we had a local church close to the prison where I was locked up. And every holiday, no matter the holiday, we had a bunch of cards that they brought to us that we could send home to our families. On Mother's Day, it was Mother's Day cards, Father's Day cards, Christmas, etc. So when Mother's Day's cards got in there, if you didn't grab them in about the first 10, 15 minutes, you didn't get one. You had to make one out of a piece of paper and send it home to your mama like you was 7, 8 years old, which she probably would appreciate. But Father's Day cards, they could put a stack of 50 on the table in every block. Maybe one or two got missing. All the rest of them stayed stacked there. Somebody had to come and take them away. Now that's really sad, but why do you think that is? You got generations now that's been raised by single mothers, all races. So that's sad. They didn't have a father to send a card to, either because they were dead or because they're a loser and they ran off and left them, or they don't respect them enough to send them a card because they weren't in their life. So don't let your kids be that guy. Okay? Do what you can do to keep them out of prison. And I'm not saying raise them weak, it's the opposite. Since you've been an inmate, I want you to step up and do something else that the rest of society is not doing for the most part. I want you to teach them to be men. I don't want you to teach them to be violent unless they have to be. But if they have to be, if they're protecting their family, train them how to hurt somebody. Train them how to defend themselves, how to defend their family. But teach them the right time to do it. Let them watch you be good to the women you're seeing, whether it's their mother or not. Whatever woman's in your life, let them see you treat her with mad respect. Okay? The same thing if it's a son or a daughter. Daughters need to see you treating women well for sure. Your sons need to see that. They're in a dark world right now. They really are. Kids are running buck wild and people's not reining them in, and it's because they have a lack of parenting and a lack of fathers more than anything. The father figure should be the most important centerpiece of their life. Teaching them to have Jesus Christ in their heart. That's your responsibility, and I promise you they'll turn out better for it. But I think you're better off than your average man out there working every day in society. I want you to find that opportunity. I want you to make honest money and care for your child. Be in their life every minute you can. If you're starting from scratch, ease your way into it, but spend time with them. Let them know you love them. I was lucky enough to where when I went inside, mine was very small, and by the time I got out, they were still pretty young. But my wife done an amazing job without me there, but I needed to be there. So I'm doing the best I can to make up for it now. I want you to do the same thing. Step up. Be that dad. Be the most important thing in their life. Most important thing in their world. Make them feel safe. Make them feel confident. Raise strong, confident men. Like I said, I'm not talking about raising weaklings by no means. Make them a strong man. Just teach them to not be violent unless necessary. Teach them not to steal. Teach them not to hurt. Teach them to have respectful language around people. Bring them up. Don't stay down. You got to get up to bring them up. Don't forget that. I remember I was coming in through check-in after a visitation, and it was pretty cold outside. My wife, she never missed a visitation. She brought my boys all the time. It was impressive. She drove at 1.3 hours one way just to see me on the weekends because she is a gift from God. So she is amazing. But anyway, there was a CO that I did not like. And he was looking out the window and he says, "Well, it's too cold to have kids out here in this weather." I said, "Dang, dude, they got jackets on." He's like, "Yeah," he said, "it's still too cold." And that's what I told him. I said, "We're in the business of raising tough men. You think they care how cold it is out there? Heck no, they don't. They keep bundled up. My wife does an amazing job with them." And he kept on, and he's like, "Well, you just do what you got to do to make sure that they don't end up in here in your uniform." And I looked him right in the eye. I said, "Sir, to be honest, I'd rather them be wearing my uniform than your uniform." Because I didn't respect him. He wasn't any kind of man. He was bottom of the barrel, like many CEOs are. Not all of them, but most. Brothers of incarceration, you know ones I'm talking about. So either way, please keep your head up. If you're going through the legal process, do what you can do to get out, and you be that dad they need. I promise you, it's worth it. It'll be the greatest thing you ever do. Break this cycle. Let's keep our children out of prison. Prison is made, the system is made to keep them coming back, to keep you coming back. That's how they make money. It's always a money racket with this country, is it not? So anybody in the system, you know what I mean. Once your kid's in the system, they're going to keep trying to bring him back, keep trying to bring him back. They may not get a second chance. Their first mistake might be a major that they can't come back from. So let's try to avoid those mistakes. Fathers, be men, raise strong women as well. Set an example. Talk to Jesus. Love y'all.